Greetings one and all, and welcome to the debut of Dark Rider Animation Analysis. I am the Nightmare Rider, Mage of Mine, reminding you, as always, that even a cheeseburger can be deconstructed to its original source. Gravity Falls is a cartoon that has gained a fair bit of recognition from its initial debut, although not quite to the same level of popularity as MLP or Adventure Time. Aside from the occasional admirable animation spotlight the mysterious Mr. Enter has given it, I have not seen much in the way of individual episode analysis of it yet, and with Season 2 starting on August 1st, I think it's only fair to highlight a few of the better episodes of Season 1 in anticipation. Tourist Trap, the debut episode, introduced the series as centering around 12-year-old twins Dipper and Mabel Pines as they are sent off to spend the summer with their great uncle Stan, who owns a tourist trap in the woods of Gravity Falls, Oregon. There are three key things a debut episode needs in order to grab the attention of its audience. These are character setup, world building, and establishing a conflict. The episode teases us with a conflict right from the beginning, as we see Dipper and Mabel driving a golf cart away from a shadowy creature that's coming crashing through the woods. Dipper partially narrates the opening himself to set up why they are here in the first place, showing the key differences between the two twins. Mabel is very light-hearted and fun-loving, in some respects being quite easily amused. She easily makes the most of the environment, unlike Dipper, who is a lot more down-to-earth and finds herself either bored or annoyed by everything that Mabel would find entertaining. However, this is not the same dynamic as you would find in something like Dexter's Lab. While Dipper may be considered the smart and mature one, he is not immune from having childish anxieties, just as Mabel can have her moments of maturity as well. Both are built upon in the coming episodes. Likewise, Grunkle Stan is generally shown to be someone who is greedy, manipulative, and not particularly sensitive to the feelings of others. This is largely played up for comedy, but there are moments where he breaks his selfish exterior to show that he really does care for the well-being of Dipper and Mabel. The central conflict of the episode is established through Dipper finding a mysterious old book that describes the kind of supernatural events that go under the nose of most of the locals. Because Mabel is very much enthralled with the idea of being in love, which is shown to be somewhat obsessive in some of the episode's more comical moments, the book gives Dipper an additional reason to become quite suspicious of Mabel's grisly-looking new boyfriend. The cold opening serves an extra use here, because it gives us a reason to believe that Dipper is onto something and not just acting out of paranoia. When Mabel gets angry at Dipper, she implies that he has had paranoid streaks before, balancing out the conflict by showing that Dipper being simply paranoid isn't completely out of the question either. One thing that Gravity Falls absolutely excels in is the use of Chekhov's gun. Through a few relatively subtle flashes of one particular page in the book, it is partially revealed what the real antagonist is. It is just easily overlooked enough the first time around, while still allowing it to stick in our mind to make the full reveal even funnier. Mabel gets to show her mature side when she discovers what her boyfriend really is, just a group of gnomes stacked on top of one another. She tries to let them down gently with her rejection, since she expresses a clear discomfort with dating gnomes. While Dipper does rescue her from the ensuing gnome Megazord, Mabel is not completely helpless in this situation. Mabel gives the second use of Chekhov's gun, as what we expect to be one-off cutaway gag is effectively used by Mabel to defeat the leader of the gnomes. When everything is over and done with, Dipper gets a chance to show his more sensitive side, making up with his sister by showing that he understands how Mabel does have a genuine desire for romance, especially considering she has shown to have limits to this desire. There isn't much to say in the way of flaws for this first episode, however what really stuck out to me was the introduction of Wendy. She really only has 2 scenes in the entire episode and is given just the basis of being a lazy teenager slacking from her job. She has developed more from future episodes, but here she just feels like a waste. My favourite character in the show, Seuss, uses his screen time more effectively, as we learn a fair bit about his character. We are shown that he isn't the brightest bulb in the box, and sometimes ends up saying things that don't make much sense. But he is still a very lovable character, being quite happy with the work he does at the Mystery Shack, as well as giving Dipper some actually sound advice in gathering evidence to support his suspicions. Wendy gets no such development, as all she really does is show us that there is not much beyond her lazy teenager archetype. She could have been cut out from this episode entirely, with her time being given to Seuss, and there would be very little change to this episode as a whole. The best thing about this episode has to be its sense of humour. The comedy usually derives from the natural sounding dialogue between the characters and how they react to one another. Most of the Mystery Shack's exhibits are obviously fake, yet all the tourists are completely captivated by it, no matter how many times Grunkle Stan blatantly squeezes as much money out of them as possible. Dipper often acts as the straight man to most of the characters, although does generate a few laughs through how Stan, Mabel and Seuss react to his paranormal theories. The best moments of comedy in the episode are often subtle pop culture references, visual puns and self-aware gags, ones that aren't completely in your face but still subvert expectations enough to be cleverly placed. Mabel secretly wishes that her new boyfriend would be a vampire, and it's a nice subtle dig at the Twilight Saga, as well as the stealth gnome poem of holy matrimony being treated as a slurred word while subverting a more traditional gag. Overall, Tourist Trap gives a brilliant introduction to everything we can expect from future episodes. Well-written characters that doesn't stall with early development, plenty of absurdist humour, even if it can be a bit on the nose at times, as well as some possible hints of the bigger mystery that goes beyond this one episode. The minor flaws it has generally can be excused as teething problems, trying to find a good balance of characters it needs to introduce, while it doesn't get it quite right. I give Tourist Trap a final grade of a straight A. Until the next time, this is the Nightmare Rider, Mage of Mind, riding out.